Hello, hello. So, mic is working, perfect. Audio is also working, some music works. Good, good, good. 3 minutes left. So, just give me 1 minute. My water. Door. So that's that. Hey Ninat, nice to see you. So quickly setting up everything, but I believe it looks quite good. Some skipped frames, okay, that's weird. But I think in general we're quite good. YouTube. Hey Shashi, nice to see you. There's one problem somehow. It seems that we don't get enough video data over to YouTube. Very good, Asraf. Very good. Thanks for asking. I hope you are well too. It could be that I have to restart the stream. But actually, no, now it's good. Okay, we will let it be, and if we may feeling like we get really some problems with the stream, then we will have a look. But I think at the moment it looks, it tells me it's bad. It's not good. Can I make a live video about Go? I would love to. Empfängt nicht genügend Videodaten. Sorry, I still have some troubles, I believe, with the stream. No, looks good. Difficult to say. Okay, I don't know. YouTube is telling me it's broken, but here it looks good. So let's quickly start and see how it turns out. All right, so great to be back. Last week we worked on the, wow, that's loud. Sorry, I have to quickly reduce the volume. Much better, much better. All right, so hope it's not too loud for you either. No, it looks good. So, all right. So last week we had a great start into our idea of creating an onboarding screen, right? Where we have the chance to rotate via different screens and have also some buttons to log in and sign in. And we worked with Firebase. So we had like our first start. Yeah, thanks for all these questions. I would love to work with Go, actually. It would be a very good challenge for myself to see if a compiler can do what I want to. And I just quickly skipped that music because it's a bit too harsh for the beginning. So let's quickly switch to pixels, maybe. That's Christmassy. Low key, let's try this one. Much better. Music, mindless matter. Perfect. So, okay. Yeah, we had the last week the chance to work on the onboarding screen. And because I thought, hey, Max, today you need to be a bit better because the last time we worked on the M1 only on one computer. And the problem was that we have a lot of issues there because whenever I builded something, the whole computer was crashing. And so I thought, hey, Max, just set up your other Mac, right? And so I did that, so we can see that here. So everything is set up, works also. But as you know, if you have an old Mac that lies around for a couple of months, suddenly there are tons and tons and tons of updates. And so for example, Xcode needs to be installed again, which takes quite a while. So I was not able to do that yet. That means today we cannot work on iOS, or at least not on the iPhone. So we will have to use the Android emulator. Also, it was quite interesting because I was just playing a bit around, and yeah, it was very, very interesting what I could see in between. Also, there are already some questions. Can I make a video on Google API? Rupak, I never worked with the Blocker v3 API, so I will actually take that into my to-do list. Blocker v3 from Google API. I don't know that one. What can it do for us? The Blocker API integrate Blocker content with the application. Interesting. It's this Blocker. Okay, haha, understood. Interesting. I've never seen this website actually. Interesting. Have to play a bit around, but yeah, we can actually take a look into it in one of the other live streams. Probably I take that with as an own topic because it sounds very interesting. But if you are interested in the Google API per se, I created in a longer live stream event, like multiple days in between, we created a quiz where we used the Google spreadsheets as a database, and how you work with the API should be nearly the same. Can I ask you a question, my dear viewers? Could you tell me if the video comes good or that you see everything good? Because I still see here on Google that stream status is bad. So quickly I will have to check with my phone. I'm really unhappy with that. Sorry for that. Oh no, it looks quite good from my phone, but I don't see how much. Yeah. Okay. It's very good. Perfect. Thank you very much. Good. Now it tells me again it's very good. I have no idea. All right. I believe you. If you can see it and you don't have any issues, I'm happy. Perfect. So, are there any additional questions, or should we just jump right into code and see where we are at the moment and what we want to do today? Because I have plans, as always. Apply Chrome, that one, and let's see. And of course, there have been also updates for IntelliJ for the newest version, and it seems that Dart and Flutter is not correctly working with that version yet. So it's quite interesting how we will work today. Let's see. Okay, if there's nothing coming in, then I would say let's jump into code. So you probably remember in Woobi, our last episode, we worked on that. So let me quickly check if I can get a browser. Yep, so if we go to github.com, and here we can find NWoobi, and probably you can see that too. And yeah, here you can see all the stuff. We did use the very good CLI to create all these kind of things. And as I said, we switched to the other computer, so some of the things are not working yet correctly, like, for example, the Flutter project. It's really interesting because I'm pretty sure that I have seen today that it worked. So what I will try is I will close this project and reopen it. Aha, and now it works. Let's see. Yeah, it seems to work. So let's... And it does not anymore. So in the worst case, we have to work like that, which would be a shame. So what I could check is if Flutter upgrade, if there happens something. And probably you don't see anything, right? The font size is way too small for you. I will increase that, of course. So give me just 1 second. I tell you, I hope really that I can do next week way better. So, font size 20. I think with that you should be perfectly seeing everything. I'll quickly restart again. And we are working with an Android, with a Flutter project. So we could also use Android Studio because I think that makes more sense. That is also a good option. Then we just have to open the project again. And I think I put it into idea projects. Oof, too many projects. YouTube live state scaffold, Dart and Vubi. Here we go. At the beginning I thought Vubi would be a bad name, but actually I like it the more we have it. Can I show my Gradle setup from the project? Yeah, sure. So let's have a look. Android, I didn't change anything in Gradle, so I'm pretty sure it's the default. And what we can see is the build script, pretty plain with Kotlin, Kotlin version. And inside of here, Gradle wrapper, also nothing important. And this one, yeah, looks pretty default to me. We didn't have changed here anything, so it's com example, very good core. We have the remove when below, yeah, because we don't remove when fix in stable channel. Interesting. Flutter, what are you doing? So it's merged, so we can remove it. Interesting. So all of these things we can read, and which brings me to another thing, because we have here not installed the very good CLI on this Mac yet, probably. Let's quickly get everything and let's see if we can start up an macOS or Android emulator. But I think macOS would be perfectly fine, right, for today. Oh no, I don't have Xcode. So, okay, then if we don't have that, we use Android. Also fine, shouldn't make a problem, actually. Hopefully, fingers crossed. The good old payment methods. So, clean that all up. So, yeah, today will be again a web update. No, how do you call that? An setup method, setup stream. So here we can say Flutter Doctor to see if everything works fine. And then we need to have the very good CLI. Very good CLI. Actually, we don't necessarily need the very good CLI, at least after the activation of the project, which we have already. So I just will install it if there is anything missed. So with create, we could create the whole project. Is there anything we need to know? No, I don't think so. Create my app. That's the stuff. We can get the packages, because very good is now a wrapper more or less for our Flutter. As you can see, we can also run all the tests and things like that, which brings me also to another thing. Thanks to very good CLI, you can see we have already a build pipeline running behind the scene, and it runs all the tests that we have. Like, it's checking formatting, it's running all the tests, it's checking code coverage, posts to set up to Flutter and things like that. So that's pretty cool, and we can use that. And if we get already an error, that means we should change something. So formatted lib. So lib app theme.dart and bootstrap.dart seem to be wrongly formatted. So that's executed. Perfect. Clear that. Oh, what do we have here? Kill Flutter build runner. We have the build Flutter build runner CLI installed here. So we have these buttons which allow us to run the build runners directly from here. Good. And we have that, and start the project. I got a question in YouTube actually in the last couple of days where they asked me if we cannot debug anymore if we have flavors installed. Actually, I want to try that because, as you know, we have now flavors thanks to very good CLI with development, production, and staging. And what I would like to do is run the whole thing in debug mode just to see if the debugger is still running. because I'm pretty sure it should work. So let's see. I have the landing page here with all that. And what can we, I think we can just debug here and see what happens. Why do you use AS, not VS Code? A very good question that I'm loving to answer. Me personally, I have pretty powerful machines. That's one thing. So if you look here, it should be simple enough, and has also enough memory to run Android Studio. And I worked a long time now with Android Studio, and the integration is just amazing. So for example, I work a lot with the Git integration that is here, which is 1,000 times better than the one from VS Code. At least my perception, because I know how to work with it. Like for example, Command T, which updates your project. The rebase works better or easier. You have way more chances to solve merge conflicts. You get way better overviews there. You don't have to install everything yourself with plugins and things like that. Also, if you don't, besides of the Git integration, I really like the Flutter integration, so like Flutter outline, inspector and things. I know they also exist in VS Code, but it's just a personal favorite, more or less. Also, I know all shortcuts. So for example, what I learned from VS Code for me is always that I don't know how to import correctly. And sometimes it doesn't even recognize imports, which drives me sometimes really crazy. And then you have to frickle around yourself and search for things. And I don't know, VS Code always feels for me like a toolbox with a lot of plugins, and where you have to understand yourself and get it from community members who created something, and then they did that maybe not perfectly fine, and you have to do it again yourself. So yeah, I learned now that I have to use VS Code for Gatsby, for example, for my website. But besides of that, I try to avoid it, actually. But it's personal preference at the end. So if you know exactly all the shortcuts, you can be as productive as I am with Android Studio. At the end, the question is not why I'm using the one or the other. It's more the question with what are you more productive at the end. So if you know all the shortcuts, if you know the easiest way to get around with IntelliJ or VS Code, that should be the editor of your choice. And if you are working with Vim and Nano or something, well, so be it. You know, I don't judge there. As long as you are productive and effective, I think it's fine to do that. So as you see, we have also that landing screen here, thanks to the very good CLI. It could be also annoying, but you can change that, of course. And you see the laptop is going really under pressure as soon as you build something on it. So, and here the debugger works. So I would say we proved that the debugger is still running when you are using flavors in Flutter and Android. Cool. So where have we been the last time? Yeah, we were able to navigate around, right? We could do it. Woo! Something happened. I have to say thank you for something. Wait. Aha. Subscription. Hey, Kindred. Nice to see you. System UI isn't responding. Great. Good stuff. So now, good. So we have the text here. We have a headline. We don't have a padding on the sides. Looks a bit sluggish still. And I think we had a design for it. But the problem is now I'm on a different computer. So I lost the design again. But that is no issue at all. We will just use and create our own. Cool, thank you very much. I use VS Code for coding only. Okay. Mobile, I think AS is better. Yep. Also, if you are not so command line familiar, ADB integration is pretty cool. And you have also the SDK manager, which also pretty cool if you don't want to hack a lot inside of the CLI. Good. So why is everything red? Missing variable. Aha, because we didn't have run the build runner probably. Let's do that quickly. I'm not even sure. We used the L10. Is it with... Oh no, it's not with build runner. So it doesn't even make sense to run it. Interesting. So what we have to do to get the internationalization running? So we have that. I thought it should be built automatically here somewhere. Yeah, here's the generation. So why does it not get the import? Flutter gen. Interesting. Looks a bit off, honestly. Let's restart the Dart Analyzer. Aha, looks better, but now we have different errors. Great. So what do we see here? Target counter.dart. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. That's true. And this is the test, right? And I'm on the wrong keyboard. Let's switch to British. Ah, much better. Cool. So what do we see? We can fix the tests, obviously. But what I would start before we do that is I would like to go to GitHub once more and want to check formatting. What is executed there? Run Flutter format. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So we can switch to the terminal. And I forgot something. I have the key drawer again. Coolio, do you want to have a dark or light mode? I start with dark, you can choose. With that, we should now have the option to see what I'm pressing, which could be a benefit for you. So then you know also the keyboard shortcuts that I'm using. I hope that is beneficial for you. So let's switch to the terminal and say, what do we need to say? Ah yeah, Flutter run format. Target file format not found. Flutter format. Nope, what was it? Flutter format, eh? Dart Flutter format, idiomatically format Dart core source code. Interesting. Set exit lib test. Aha. Lib app theme Dart. Ah, now I got it. Okay, so we have to say Flutter format and then say lib. With that, we get these two files. Ah, and this is changing directly. So we can now take a look into our commits. And here we should see what has changed. And there was a free line, so he doesn't like it. And on the other side, we have also here a line too much in the theme.dart, which is completely empty. Interesting. Well, I mean, make the build pipeline happy, right? So CI CD. And what I usually do, I don't know if I have the plugin installed. No, sadly not. CI CD fixed formatting. So usually I would not make such a commit or not just only such a commit because yeah, that file is completely worthless at the moment. I would keep that, make it to do here, to do, add a theme to our application. Great stuff. Yep, and let's commit that. Review, yeah, there's a to-do, that's fine. Commit. Let's push that and gone. Cool. So with that, we have hopefully fixed that check here. And with that, the build pipeline should run through again, which should be fine. Ah, but run tests has been skipped. So what we will do is fixing one by one the build pipeline today first. And then what we can do is writing some tests for our new UI as soon as it's finished. So we can also learn something about the testing pyramid again, have some component tests written, run maybe some end-to-end tests. I have plans today. Could be that you don't remember what we wanted to do. The only thing that we actually want to do is improving this onboarding screen for now. And then as soon as we have that done, we want to take the next step to really log in, maybe creating like a Firebase login or something like that. Maybe we use another backend as a service. If you have ideas, let me know, then I would change that, or we just use that. And what I also wanted to check is why I have the wrong internet connection here. So switch from the LAN there over there. And put that in. So as I said, it's today a bit playing around with all the setup again because I tried to improve. In the meantime, we can watch how the build runner is running through. Not the build runner, sorry, the CI/CD. So hopefully that's happy. Nope, So analyze is this time the problem. Okay, so let's see, run Flutter Analyze, and there seems to be a lot of errors. Okay, great stuff. And this is probably mostly because things are broken, right? So we have that here too. So we don't have a counter anymore. We cannot find a counter page anymore. But what we could do is enhance that so that we now find a landing page actually. So we have the landing page. Wait, sorry, I have to remove this tab 9 here. Plugins. I played a little bit around with AI helpers, and until now I'm not really, how do you call that, convinced that this will be the future. At the moment they are blocking me more than they help me. Also, I installed the GitHub Copilot, which was also pretty cool from time to time. But sometimes it's just such a mess what they produce. So quickly restart. And the biggest problem with, for example, GitHub AI or GitHub Copilot is for me that it automatically tries to get your data. So it immediately asks you to accept their telematics ideas, which is quite expensive if you think about it, because then they know exactly how you code, and this is somehow pretty sad in my opinion. So let's see, this is now a tester pump widget, find one widget. So that looks like a component test or a widget test. Let that run quickly. Yay, it passed, which is pretty cool. So first things done. Do we have more errors? Yeah, counter qubit, of course that cannot work anymore, and counter test page. Okay, helpers, what is the helpers we have? Pump app, what's that? Ah, nice, so they have a surrounded pump app helper that you can reuse. Interesting. And this one is just a so-called barrel roll, and the barrel roll contains all the exports of a folder. So that means in JS, you would have like an index.js where you have all the imports and exports inside. All right, so I would say the counter folder can be removed completely yet, so at the moment, because what we have is the authentication folder. So inside of the app, I think it was, right? Directory, so we can say the authentication. View app. Oh no, it's on the same level as app, so we have to move that one up. And here inside we will create the tests later for this onboarding screen when it's finished. Good, but now we can push another time, or on the other side, let's quickly have the analyzers running on our local system. Flutter Analyze, lib and test. One issue found, okay. Use Flutter to do, huh? What is a Flutter to do? To do username, Where has it been? The issue happens in theme.dart. Interesting. So to do username, so max. What is my username actually? No, it's a node with git blame. Why can I not see my own stuff? Here it works. Is it just Weber? Let's quickly check. Let's go to Git Integration, and down here, Max Weber or Max. Huh, interesting. With which account I do commit at the moment? Where can I see that again? Was it here? Git, version control, commit. I thought also with MDW. Aha. Okay, let's take that one. I think that's the best. So MD Weber. Okay. So is he now happy with it? Or does he also need a date? I can't set AI as a second recommendation, so it cannot bother you. I can set AI as a second recommendation, so it cannot bother you. Yeah, you can do that. Let me know if you have something. Good. So with that, we have also the analyzers fixed, right? So CI/CD fixed Flutter Analyze. We have a to-do. That's no, wrong button. Commit. Fair enough. That's that. And before I push now, let's have another look. What would be next? Run test. So I guess it will be Flutter test. Let's see what's working and what not. I think everything should work. Perfect. And there was a mistake in writing. I saw that. There is the counter page, landing page. And rerun. So I do that always in the command line at the moment, but actually what would be much better is just executing them via configurations. What you can do is you can create your own configurations. If you go up here, click on the plus, say Flutter, and then you say, for example, run all tests. And then Dart entry is, good question. Do we want to have a Flutter, or additional run arguments would be just test? I just think about how exactly we do that. So can we say test here? Dart entry point has to be set. So would it be this one? It's a good question. So here we have the Dart entry point for that. Ah, I'm stupid. I'm very sorry. We have the Flutter test underneath. I should read better. So test, run all tests. And why is it important to create it as a real thing? And why is this one gray? The answer is, if it is here like really written and thick, then it is something that gets saved as a configuration and you can store it as a project file. If it is gray like this, it will be disappearing after execution it of multiple times. And if you don't use it anymore, it will just drop out of the list. So I recommend you, for things that you execute more often, you can just do that. So we execute all in directory. The test directory is, you guessed it, test. Good. Additional arguments we don't need, and say apply. And with that, we can just click up here and run all the tests. The cool thing is, if I remember correctly, if you have installed a plugin, and the plugin is called Flutter Enhanced Suite. If you have installed this one, you don't see only autocomplete and update pub packages, but what I love about it most, and I'm really happy about it, that's way, and they don't even be happy about it? Crazy. They were the first ones who had the test coverage inside. So if you run something like that with test coverage, it will create you a coverage folder and you get all the files that are covered. Test coverage is not one major thing that you have to be or that you have to try to get to 100%, but it gives you a quite nice understanding. And the cool thing is, if you jump now into, let's say, the onboarding steps, you get that nice little green tab on the left side, which means hits. So all the tests that we have at the moment, which is one, hits one time. So now you could say, well, why does it hit one time? It doesn't make sense, right? Well, it does, because what this test do is it pumps the widget app, so the whole app at the end, and wants to find a landing page at the end. So all the widgets getting rendered at least once. So that's why you see it as tested with that. Okay, but so much to that. I like that, can just recommend it. Cool. So with that, we have the test. And why did I change something? We did the landing page. Okay. So it's just a cleanup, actually. Renaming. Now, why did I do that? Yeah, to stay consistent with the test. I had to rename the test case. Good. So push all the things, and let's see if the build pipeline this time is running through. I'm sorry that I'm doing the boring tasks first at the moment. I know to create Flutter views is more engaging and way beautiful and you have something to see. But I just want to give you the whole experience. Like I would do a project, you know, I want to always keep the build pipeline green, always take a look. I'm actually doing very bad stuff and I hope you saw that already and you wanted to hit on my fingers. I did not create pull requests for the whole thing, right? No feature branch, nothing that we can at the end configure and make better. So at the moment, I just push on top of it. And what I also don't do as a developer, which works on a side project, I do not create change logs, like thinking about what I want to do before I do it. So in order to do that, then why don't we create a project? Here on the side, we have now the new projects part. Oh, there's a question. So which state management are you prefer? Actually, I don't prefer, well, I prefer one, which I learned that I should not prefer. That was Redux. I really like that idea of one single store and have the control over that one. And at the moment, I'm working a lot with the block pattern, which I really enjoy actually. So Qubit and blocks is currently the one that I would prefer at the moment. Small circular Chrome, Google Chrome to big circle rotating and growing bigger animation needed for logo splash screen. Great, Manish. Yes, do that. So what we could do is creating a project, and what I would like to is go to create a new project. I have to go somewhere else. Why can't I not just create here one? Okay, let's try that. So let's create a new project and whoa. Wow, what's that? Let's call that NVUBI because that's the project. And now we have an Excel table here. Or what's that? Give feedback, project details. Ooh. A small quiz app with authentication, onboarding, and quizzes. Should be connected with our Heroku server, with our Dart server. Good. So what is that now? This is try draft. So let's call that tasks and create our first user story, I guess. Interesting. You're most welcome, Hazan. And the bitrate dropped. Huh. Why is that? Quickly check. No particular reason. Okay. Ay. Things happening. Quickly checking everything. Yeah, it seems that we had some problem with the internet. Okay, anyway. Good, so now let's create a task. So what we want to do is finishing the onboarding screen. So what can we say here? And somehow always the system UI is breaking here. It's a bit nuts. Let's quickly delete the app to make that a bit cleaner. Hello, Mesota, great to see you. I hope you had a perfect week and this one day before Easter you have the perfect day to watch some coding in a very calm atmosphere. At least I try to be calm. Cool, so let's think about, so we want an onboarding screen or page we called it. I as a user want to see an onboarding screen of the quiz app, which explains me what I can do with the application. So I assign it, obviously there is just one, so it's me, status in progress. So if we have that, we would like to have an authentication with a backend as a service, because I don't think that we want to implement our own authentication. Usually that's a bad idea. It does take a lot of resources and it's quite heavily to do. So I don't assign that currently. Maybe someone from you want to do it, right? I don't want to take something away. Then we have, we need to create a new, create a screen to make it possible to solve quizzes. And before we do that, we have to also make sure that we can create quizzes, right? So I, as a user, want to create quizzes in the app. Okay, so before we do more, let's go into that. Let's edit and make some description here. No description provided. Aha, I can do it here. So we have Markdown. Crazy. Jeez. So much better than Jira. Can I make a video about CI/CD, please? It will really helpful for us. Yeah, sure. I did once one, which is not completely for CI/CD with GitHub Actions, but with CodeMagic actually. So CodeMagic is a quite cool company, a startup, which I really enjoy because they are for free with 500 build minutes, macOS and everything, and it's very easy to use for Flutter and Dart. And I think the video can find if you search for my name, and yeah, I agree everything. Of course I agree. So Flutter explained and then CI/CD. I think you will find something. Here we go. Look at my hair. This was in Corona lockdown thingy bitchingy. But yeah, so there are already some explanations there. And if you have still questions, feel free to ask me on Twitter, right? That's most best that you can do. By the way, I'm currently trying to establish my first hashtag in the world, which is, wait, can I do that somehow? Where's the hashtag on a British keyboard? There's no... Sorry, I have to find the hashtag. There's no hashtag. Is it this one? No. Yeah, here. Okay, so it's hashtag Flutter explained. Let's see if it works. It would be great. We have a little question. Why are we predefining what the output of the unit test will be? Isn't the point of testing that you want to learn what the output is with the specified test input? I would agree with you. And the reason why we did not do it yet is because we didn't write tests so far. So if you look at the test that we have here, it is just executing an app. So it's just opening up our app, and then it will just search for what we will have. So the test itself happens here, while this one is a widget test at the moment that's getting up. So I believe this is just the example test that has been there. So it's nothing that we have really written. So as you can see, there's a lot of copyright also above. I think we can remove that too. So because we changed it. And yeah, but as soon as we write our own tests, I would agree completely with you and say, yes, you're right. We should absolutely do that. So that's working. I think I can put that out. Quickly checking everything else. Good. All right, so let's write quickly what we want to have from the onboarding screen, right? We know now the user wants to see the onboarding screen. So we want to have translations. So that means what I will do quickly is a task list, like professional tooling, amazing. So what we want to have is onboarding with 3 different screens that can have a headline and a body text. What we also want is that the headline and body text can be translated. So translation, translatable, body and headline texts. We want that there is, the user wants to see 3 images. For each text, he wants to see an image. let's think about what as a user I want to have also, like swipeable function. The images and the text should be swipeable, while the login and register button should be in a fixed position. Good. Oh no, that was a general question. When using example, then answer with mocks. What do you really get from that? Aha. Okay, that's a very good question. So you have like 3 different testing possibilities, right? You have the one unit tests, you have component tests usually, and one level above you have end-to-end tests. You always have to think about what kind of tests you want to have. For example, unit tests are usually there to make a function, a single function to test that one. And what this brings to you is something like, if you think about my Dart cones, my favorite project, by the way, which I still have too less time to make more out of it. This Dart cones here, for example, use tests heavily to show you how you can improve in your Dart language. How I'm doing that? I pass in some functions and make sure that my application behaves all the time the same. So all these tests that are failing there are all the time the same things. They work always exactly the same way. And this is why unit tests are there. You want to make sure that if someone else is changing the code piece where you have worked, and he, for example, don't really want to change something, he just saw something to refactor, because you know other developers always have a better eye. They will see that you have made a lot of bullshit, so he wants to change it. And your tests make sure that he can move the files, for example, without a problem, because the functionality should not change then. So whenever the functionality should not change, your unit tests will help him as a getter or as a safety net. On the other side, if you have like component tests, which in Flutter speaking is widget tests, you want to make sure that the UI stays the same way, even though that you change something. And if you as a developer take that piece of code later again, and you run the tests and you see, hey, somehow the tests are failing, then you have to actively think about why was this test there in place? So did the former developer made that change on purpose? And if you change that, is that still good? And then you have to fix the tests, because you actively have to change the tests to match your behavior that you would like to have. So it's like, again, a safety net for the developers to come. And last but not least, if you think about end-to-end tests, this is to make POs happy usually. That is when you have like a device running that will automatically run your tests. By the way, in app development, that is a very hard task. So I'm really happy with the framework of Flutter for that, because in Flutter you have that all integrated, like end-to-end tests. You can just push that to Firebase and they will execute it on real devices. But with all the other technologies, it's not that easy. It's really a flaky and sometimes cumbersome problem, right? And so most of the companies that I have worked yet with made it manually. So some poor guy or a lot of poor guys have to manual test end-to-end more or less all the different scenarios that could be working on the app. And also here, it is just to make sure that the app behaves still the same like before. Good. Yes, I mentioned widget test. I always mix them up because component and widgets, I'm coming from a web background where I worked a lot with Angular and also with a lot with React. And at the moment I'm working a lot with React, which is also even worse, React Native. So I'm completely switching that up all the time. So if you're thinking about test terminology in Flutter space, then it's usually widget test, but if you would talk about it in Dart space, there it is again more component and functional tests. So I hope that made sense. Cool, no worries, absolutely with pleasure. Matja, nice to see you. So I hope this is not your second name. So Drumil? Great to see you. Taking a sip of water. I think I missed today the starting date of my live stream. I believe I planned it for 5 p.m. and I thought in my head that it's at 6 p.m. So I just started it and hope you didn't felt it or you didn't wait for it. But yeah, okay, so much for this stuff. So we could now do it also beautiful and write something like I believe this is not the right keyboard that I need. So let's go quickly to the keyboard preferences because I need a special British keyboard. I need a British PC and get rid of the old British. So because British PC is the one that I use all the time, right? So hashtag is here. Perfect. So British PC it is. Yeah, thank you. You are a senior Android engineer. Started with Flutter, but I think I can do better with native Kotlin. I think if you are native developer for Android and you only want to connect to Android, as a developer perspective, I would say stick with it. You know, you don't have to make it Flutter. But if you think for other roles, usually a team, let me quickly check. I can also switch quickly to transmission, I guess, and remove that flag here, like so. And then I can talk very direct with you in big, you know. All right, so if you're an Android engineer, usually you don't want to shift necessarily because Android per se is a cool technology. Kotlin is amazing, I love it. And also Swift is pretty cool language. But if you think about you are in a big company, let's say you have a team or you have even multiple teams that are working on the app. If you have two technologies, Android and iOS, usually what happens in the long run is one of the teams will advance at some point and they will be better. So, and this leads to a lot of problems. First of all, the other team that is maybe in Android or iOS has now problems because one thing has to do and maybe they are slower and slowly there happens a competition between the two teams, which suddenly leads to a lot of problems that have never been there before. This is one interesting idea of problem because I figured that out already. And there is also other things like you have to have two backlogs. That means you need at least two product owners. You have to manage that everything stays somehow in sync because if the iOS app is way enhanced in comparison of Android, suddenly you have problems that your users will not understand, especially the ones who have two devices, why I can do things on this app and I cannot do it on that app. That doesn't sound too much of a problem, but if you are a big company, you will think multiple times about these problems because there is a lot of money involved automatically. And that is usually the reason why I recommend in bigger companies Flutter and cross-native development. Besides of all the benefits that you directly have it also on Windows and Mac and whatever, and also in the web. But the main benefit is really to have one team that focus on one app and works together and collaborate instead of creating competition somewhere. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Kotlin team is going for multi-platform also, but Flutter is built by Google. So you never know what big is. Yeah, that's true. I saw, is there not, I think there was also something that Android. There was also something that I saw that Android was very close to Flutter and that has a name. Also pretty new. I think I forgot the name. Yeah. But yeah, that's technology, you know. Every week there is something new that is amazing. Not sure how great Kotlin for iOS is. Yeah. I think the benefit of Flutter at the moment is that they have a lot of drive and most of the packages that I saw are very stable, which I really like. There are also problems with everything. JetCompose. Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. JetCompose. In general, the compose part was it. Ah yeah, and there's, yep. So it's pretty Flutter-like and works also very great to create Flutter or apps in general. So as I said, there are a lot of tons of technologies and tools. I think the last thing that I saw was the JetBrains Developer Insight. Was it the name? State of developer ecosystem. I think they have one 2020. Do they have a newer one? Yes, 21. And then they have mobile development somewhere. And that was very interesting, especially for cross-mobile development. They had a statistic, if I have that in mind. Coding, programming, blah, blah, blah. Where they come from, professional, Windows, English, language, English, migration. No, not necessarily interesting. Interesting. I thought I saw it somewhere. I think Flutter had it in one of their reports. Because it was quite interesting how adaptive Flutter is getting, because React Native was very far behind in comparison. Also on Stack Overflow, you can look at the questions and answers. And I think from the statistics, the Flutter won above React Native factor 3 or something. It was pretty crazy. You tried studying Kotlin after I studied Flutter, and I found Kotlin to be extremely hard. Well, Dart is a very, very elegant language and has a crazy good tool set. And this is my main problem that I have at the moment with React Native, for example. The tooling is horrible. It's just out of this world bad, and I hate it so much. Yeah, okay. Cool. Hello, I'm from Nigeria. Nice to see you. Sand the mix. Okay, but let's write a little bit further, and I mean, I can answer still questions in the meantime. So, like tasks. Now we can click preview. Nice, great stuff. Cool. Make it swipeable, and of course we want to have the login button, right? So, yep. Add the login and register button. And optimal, if it would be now a story that you get from a PO, or that I would get from a PO, I would ask, is there a design, question mark? And then the answer would be no. And I would say, okay, then I cannot guess it. But no, we don't have a design. I should maybe search one on Dribble again, or yeah, we have to check. Let's see. So the status is in progress. We convert it to an issue. No, it should be. It's a draft. What does that mean? Oh, hey, Mesota, welcome as a member. Thank you so much. Hey, from Pakistan, great. Pakistan. I learned now where Pakistan is. Last week, actually. That was pretty interesting because Pakistan is in the eastern part of Iran, between Iran and China. And I learned a lot of good things about Pakistan in general, besides of the political problem that they have at the moment. But very nice country, and I want to eat some food from Pakistan. I have very big hopes that I can travel to Pakistan in the next couple of years. If, you know, Corona is going away. You did not like the concept of UI from XML. Yeah, I think nobody likes that in Android. XML is like, don't do it. Hello from Brazil. Hey, Michael, nice to see you. Or Brazil, is it then Michel Fortuné? That is French, sorry. Don't bother. Okay, so what can I do now here? It's a bit weird. So convert to issue. Yeah, let's do that. And let's put it, now in Wubi. Now I can put that here inside. Click. So what's happened next? It's now an issue in progress. What's labels, reviewer, repository. In general, the repository will be always the same, like it's always in Wubi. So I have to now. Okay, I'm not completely convinced that this is nice. How would that now work? If I jump now to NWubi, what's now here going on? If I go to projects, add project, this one. Private, Can I make that public? Settings, workflows, settings. Visibility, public, perfect. readme, we do that later. Status fields, okay. Good, good, good. Sorry, I'm playing around. Let's get back. Okay. From India, next to Pakistan. That's true. Also a very nice country. I've never been there, but I was in Sri Lanka, so I would say close. I'm sorry. Hey, from Nepal, very nice mountains. No worries, Mesota. I'm very happy to create videos for you. The next video will be deployment to Heroku. Actually, it should be ready already, but unfortunately, as always, I'm slow. There is always so much I can do at the end. Okay, cool things. So what did I want to do? I played around and I said, don't play around, Max. Go back to the project and develop something, right? So let's see. We have that. System UI can be closed again. I don't know what's wrong today with my emulator, but it doesn't look good. So maybe I have to quickly restart the one and maybe make a cool cold reboot. So clean everything on the device and restart it. Sometimes that helps if you make a cold boot. With that, you really killed it. Whoa. Ah, I have the emulator now inside. That's also pretty cool. Let's try if this works. Else we eject it again. Dart for the service, great. Can't wait for the tutorial. Yeah, I hope we get that further. I really hope that, because this app at the end should then connect to that. So this is my idea and my hope at the end. Have you worked with Twilio package? Actually, no, sadly not. I actually hope that they want to sponsor a video for me. It happens a lot with my emulator too. Okay, so that's bad. Let's hope that we can fix that in the long run. Oh, you hold the talk? Where was it? Do you have a video or something? Would be interesting. Okay, so now we have that. Run the development. Ah, much better. Yo, Ada, what's up? Ah, you have been here last week, right? So welcome back. Quick and easy, instant notification, perfect. So, and from the bottom part, what I would like to have is like a shadow part, or no, let's go to Dribble. Let's search for a nice UI. I'm not that good in designing, so let's have a look what we get. Let's sign in. We'll be back in a sec. Can I'll have to switch shortly here, and then I have to quickly enter big fat passwords everywhere. So give me a sec. If you hear that noise, that was our Android emulator that is now ready to use. So pop, 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 Google Mail, pop, pop. Thank you, Andy. Welcome to the Flutter family. I hope my videos will help you a lot. And in the meantime, I try to confirm here the Google stuff. Yes, it's me. Do that, confirm. Got it, perfect. Ah, Flutter Meetup Zurich. Oh, nice. I really want to be back in Switzerland from time to time. I was working for Swisscom a long time ago. It was pretty cool. It was very cool experience, honestly. Yeah, but this hour, you know, I wanted to start at 5 p.m, so even 1 hour before that. But yeah, the next time we will be on point again, everyone. Shafkat Nadim. Lol, I thought it was my emulator. No, I believe it's for all. So what I want to have is an onboarding screen. So let's see what we can get. And let's see if I find the one that we had the last time. Ooh, that's also nice. I'm also a big fan of dark mode. So Oh, look at how smooth everything is. So we have 2 of 3. We have this nice little dots that we can animate. Interesting. But I'm pretty sure it never looks that nice at the end. Besides, if we invest a lot of time. Ah, was it this one? No. Ah, this one was it, right? With the color scheme. Yeah, that's it. So, and what I will do, that I will never, ever mess it. Oh, it's... Ooh. Yeah, now I'm a little bit in a how do you call that, in a bad situation. So I can just copy that, but he wants $25 for it, just for this video. So my friend, I will not do that. Sorry. I can just clone it, but then I have the feeling I would steal him something. I know it's just for fun, the project, but you never know. At the end I get like a very big how do you call it, sue, yeah. Okay, but anyway, I think we can just do it ourselves. In the worst case, we have to design and create, be a bit creative. I think we as a team can do that, right? But we have a good idea what we want to have. So what can we do? Let's go to the authentication screen and do some things. So we had the onboarding steps here. And here we had these slides, and every slide is one of these things, right? And I think we wanted to have these 3 dots underneath of it. What can we do for that? Let me quickly think what we have to do. So we have the page view, and the good thing is this controller will contain the index of the page that we are in, actually. So we have material, save, and page view. We don't want that it is swipeable, right? So as soon as we only want to have the top part swipeable. That would mean we have to surround this page view with a column. Let's do that quickly and see what we can do. So the page view is away. And if we check the error messages down here, wow, there we get a lot of stack traces. And we get the famous, it's interesting that it's not getting red actually with the red screen of death, but we have the render repaint boundary. And the problem is, and I don't, I'm in German again. Yeah, okay. And the problem is this page view now takes as much space as it wants, and column gives us as much space as it wants, which leads to infinity. And infinity is never a good thing in your app. So what we have to do, we have to wrap it once more with a widget, and we call that expanded. So, and with that, we have that again. And if we scroll, you can see on this blue thing, if I move it to the left, the blue, how do you call it, shadow, you can see that it takes the full size of the page. And the reason for that is because there is nothing that blocks its way. And it will take 100% height at the moment. So what we can do is putting stuff underneath of that. So for example, if we want to have a default container just where we want to have like a child, which we say a text like hello world. Yeah, make it const. Unnecessary container. Okay, I want to have that container. I come to that in a second. But what you can see is now the text is underneath and I cannot swipe it anymore. So if I touch that, it should not be swipeable, but this part is swipeable, and you see the blue border has lost a little bit of its space. Now, if I make that one expanded too, then you can see, yeah, yellow stripes. But interesting enough, we have now on the left side that it's having not enough space. And that's also interesting. We need to make the upper part maybe scrollable because it's bigger sizes, different sizes of screens, right? But we will have a look. Okay, why do I want to have a container? I would say the expanded should be flex 2, and this here, no, sorry, flex 1, and the other one should be flex 2. And now you will see what this does for us. It will push the lower part a little bit below. And with that, the upper part has a little bit less space. How do I make design responsive? I usually use device preview package. Very good point. Device preview package is a fantastic tool for that. If you don't know that, it's the pop.dev device preview. Whoa. Here we go. Yeah, this one helps you a lot to organize and see different screen sizes and things. And I would use that if I would have installed Xcode. But as I said, my laptop is completely fresh installed, more or less. So I need to wait till everything works there. And with that, you can set up different screen sizes. As you can see, you can test all the things around. And additionally to device preview, I think Stacks is his name, is also a fantastic YouTuber and tutorial giver, and he created a crazy good tutorial for responsive design, if I have that in mind. Let's search somewhere here, responsive, and I think, was it this one? No, another one. Create and deploy Flutter Web, a responsive UI architecture solution. Build responsive UI architecture in Flutter. So you can see there is a lot, but I'm looking for a different one. This one, I believe. And the cool thing is he created like a reactive component and surrounded everything. And then he added this orientation and device widths and things like that. And he has the possibility to re-render the whole widget tree as soon as something changes inside of it. Also, what I find, if you check all his tutorials, he has also one where he explains how you can fitting your sizes of the texts and make them responsive to the size of the monitor too, by multiplying your text sizes and things like that. So highly recommend this tutorial section. I really enjoyed that. So it works also on Android emulator. Really? Ah, because I can use a tablet? I can try that in a second. I like that. Would have loved to use percentage for sizes when making the Flutter apps like we do in web dev. Yes. I can understand that. Would I love that? I have never thought about it, honestly. And I see right now that my emulator is not really visible anymore because of my face, my beautiful face. How can I solve that? Actually, I think I have to eject it. So let's quickly do that. Close the emulator, and here we have the emulator. And then launch not in the tools window. And now if I open that, yeah, obvious. Start. It should be again an own phone. Here we go. Maybe a bit big. So. But yeah, I also tried some responsive design videos at the very beginning of my design career. And what Flutter usually do to make things responsive is to create a lot of different widgets, like horizontal, vertical, tablet, whatever, and then tries to mix them up. Like, for example, if you have a list view on the left and you have like a detail view on the right and things like that, you usually have different widgets for that, and you just select which one you want to display at the time. What's next? Do you think it's possible to implement Apple's Pencil Kit with a platform view in Flutter? I tried to create drawing functionality with Customer Painter, but it didn't work really performant. You can... yeah, sure. Minnesota is completely right. Absolutely. Of course you can use the 50%, but I think what he wants is more that it is like CSS. You can directly enter it and it does the things for you. Actually, I have to look up what Apple's Pencil Kit is. Apple Pencil Kit. What is that again? Is that the thing that you see in the drawing tool? Capture touch and Apple Pencil input as a drawing and display that content from your app. Honestly, I have no idea. Low latency drawing to your app using Pencil Kit. I know that there are projects. I think there is a Flutter project, and I believe where you can draw. I think so. Drawing board or something. I'm not sure anymore. Using custom painter, drawing paint signature packages. Let's see, the Flutter Gems is a very good site for things like that. So here you can draw, and I think this is nearly the things that you wanted to do, right? Like mandalas and things like that. Here, draw, Flutter draw. You can try that. I think something like that would help you. To make it performant, actually I don't see a problem why it should not be performant. You have to try a bit around. I think that would be cool to use. I heard that using multimedia query isn't good pattern for production apps and preferable way to use layout builder and other structural widgets. That's correct. Realign the UI depending on its screen size. That's true. Cool. Discussion in the chat with the chat. I love that. Thank you so much. You do an amazing job. You are fantastic viewers. You are most welcome to join more and more often. Good. So let's quickly open it. Here's everything great. Good. No issues at all. Perfect. Good. So now we have that expanded. We have a different flags. And what I would like to have, because I want to keep the container, is have a box decoration. And besides of that box decoration, I want to have a shadow. And the box shadow wants to get some specifics. And this is so huge. You don't know how much I love this section. It's this is the reason why I love Dart, why I love Flutter, because the documentation is there where I need it. It's exactly here, you know, no JavaScript bullshit where you have to search everything, and then in React Native you don't get perfect documentation pages. You have to search everything, and you have to rely on blog articles by people who maybe don't even know the package and things like that. Love it. Good. But what you can see is we want to have a list of box shadows now, and this list of box shadows we can pass in probably. And here we want to create box shadow. By the way, did I put now that on top so you can see better, I guess? Hey Nilesh, long time no see. I hope you are well. How's it going? So, good. All right, so box decoration, we have that in place. I just put now things like that in place. And here this box shadow, can we use a default constructor? No, sadly not. So we have to pass everything inside. So what would be the blur radius, blur style, color, offset, spread radius? Let's think about it. So blur radius, we don't, should we default that? Let's start with the color, which should be pretty simple. We do it black. And now, why don't I see the box shadow at the moment? Do I need multiple ones directly to see them? I thought one would be enough. Let's try. Up. What's next? Blur radius. I guess we can just enter a number. So let's give it 2. Blur style. I don't need that. Offset is just X, Y. So we give that 1 and 1. Why do I don't see it? Remove argument because 1 is 1. This is unneeded. So it had default values: blur radius, spread radius, offset of 0. So actually the color is not necessary. The blur radius, the offset. What do we else need? Blur style, is that set? Normal. Spread radius 2.0. So why do we don't see this container and its shadow? Whoa, so many texts. Sorry, need to while. So Agam, no, Nilesh, all good, perfect. I'm also very good. I live stream again in a regular basis, which I love. Good. Miss Sota has ideas. You need to convert the custom paint to PNGs after a few points, otherwise the FPS drops drastically. Yeah, that's true. Was that I could not really create an interactive viewer. The reason is that when you convert the lines to PNGs, you will need to re-render them to on zoom. No, absolutely not. I can understand that, because that is a really huge problem with the re-rendering in the runtime. I can imagine, especially if you want to make it as fast as possible. And the question is also how you can improve that. I think I saw from Philip Hercek, he created a long time ago a great performance series on the Flutter YouTube channel. And there he talked a lot about this lag and things like that. Like he called it different. I think he didn't call it lag. What do you call that? If you miss frames and things like that. And what I can maybe recommend you, there is the Flutter Dev clock page. And I don't know if you know this clock challenge, but there is things like this, which are completely created with Custom Painter. And why I would recommend you this page now, you could check the GitHub repositories from them. So if you check inside, you will see that they have created most of their parts also with the Custom Painter, like ClockFX is, I think, stuff, Painter. And maybe you find some hints how they did and worked with the worked around the performance issue there. But yeah, I don't know if it necessarily helps you, but maybe. Okay, so why don't I see a box shadow now? That's unfortunate. I think, can I have the color here and just say that the color here is 0x00? So, wait, that's one too much. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Colors.transparent. Should be exactly that one, yeah. Do I need to have multiple of them? So we have two box shadows, both are black and I cannot see them. Okay, what I will do quickly is I will take that container, by all means remove that, and yeah, I will have the local history. So what I will do is I will remove all that and just put it there inside. And we see that the view is not updating. That means our project is not running, and that means hot restart does not work. So that's the reason why we cannot see the box shadows. Isn't it great? So, R. Then let's get started. I'm very sorry I cannot share links with you, and the music is driving me nuts, so I will have to switch that quickly. So what do we have here else? Ambient gold. It's really good, the stream beats. I'm so happy that they did their stuff. So, aha, so now we have a lot of shadow down there. Great stuff, so much shadow. I read somewhere that I should only study Flutter if I have a Mac, which I do not have at the moment. What are your views? Well, if you want to work with iOS, like creating an iOS app, then yes, absolutely, you need a Mac. Makes sense, right? Because you cannot build it. But if you want to create only an Android app, or you want to create a Windows application, well, then Windows is the way to go. And also you cannot create Windows applications with the Mac, or only with a lot of workarounds. So in general, you can use Flutter with no problems, actually, in my opinion. I think what Mesota is referring to is drop frames when using interactive viewer. The issue is interactive viewer has a calculate and recalc or redraw everything. Okay. The good thing is, Nilesh, you are an expert. 2 years and bought my MacBook 1 week ago. So congratulations. I hope an M1. They are ridiculously good. Good. So remove one of that. So why is now the color so ugly? So do we have colors dot white? I don't know. Ah, perfect. So now we have actually a shadow. Make the blur radius maybe a bit higher, like 10. And not so strong. I think it's super strong. Ooh, it's even stronger. Huh. Instead of doing it with a box shadow, what I also could do, if I only want to have that, do I need a container for something else? No, I don't think so. So what we could do is removing that and create an, is it an elevation? Elevation? Huh, where did I get an elevation from? I remember some parts, but anyway, that would be the way to go, I guess. And instead of a container, I should replace that by a real widget for the decoration. So there is a decorator box, I think. Let's see, we take that and we don't want that. Taking this, decoration. I think we don't need that. So with that, the container can go, and then we have it like that. So now we see that this decorated box, out of some reason, doesn't take the full width of the application. Congratulations to your M1. Okay, so single quotes for fair enough. I always watch into the chat. You have a very interesting talks right now, so just don't want to read everything. Even though that I get like, this is my job actually as a good YouTuber, I should read everything, but you know, I'm not a good YouTuber. So we have this expanded. So why does it not take the full width? And the reason should be the column here. It should take, column is main axis, cross axis, right? So cross axis alignment, stretch. Let's try that. And it's so stretched. So, well, okay, we could do that. But now I would like to have some border radius here because I don't like that the top corner notches are so strict. So let's see if we can do that. Border radius, geometry, so okay. Radius dot, and I don't want to have all, I want to have only top left. And I could now take 8 or something, but I will change that quickly later. So top right will be also 8. I have to take radius, obviously. Radius, circular 8. Copy that over and bring that over here. Great stuff, and we can see now it has something, but we have to make a multiply, and I think we multiply by 4. Good, like that. So something like that. It looks a bit edgy, you know? Perfect. What I would like, should we push that a little bit in, that it looks like it has left and right some space? So what I mean is we would take a padding for that, and not all, we would do that only. No, we would do it even better. We do it, was it symmetric? Yeah, symmetric, and then we say horizontal with 8. Great, yes. And we can do also a multiply, so we take 8 times 2. Something like that. Could be a problem for different screen sizes, right? So I don't know, can we move that already? And does it change something? Yeah, so everything is broken. But as I said, we will have a look into that in a future episode. Now I just want to have this, how do we call that? Login modal or something? So I can tell you a little bit about Mac experience. I hated Macs. I never wanted to work with Apple. I didn't want to have an iPhone at all, and not for work, not at all, because I was a student. And during the student time, Apple was like very discriminating every student, I think, because they don't have money. And to develop for Apple, you need a developer account, costs hundreds of dollars. You need to have a Mac, costs hundreds of dollars. iPhone is very expensive. And it was until 2018 or something, so very long, like 7 years or 8 years, I never touched a Mac. And then my girlfriend had bought a very nice Mac, and I bought a Surface, you know, like Microsoft Surface. And there I saw the differences. Like I had to set up everything, I had to work with both of them, and the Surface was hot, slow, ridiculous. And the Mac Pro was, at least, it was very fast, usable, programming was a joy with it. And since then, I work only on Macs, which is a crazy development, I guess. And with the M1, it's mind-blowing. Really, for development and working, M1 is I don't want to miss it anymore. Hey Tom, didn't see you for a while. Hope you are well. Good. So box shadow worked. We have the radius circular. We have nice and edgy thingies. Now the child should not just be a text, it should be a column itself, I think. Why is it not working? Column cannot invoke a non-constant constructor. Oh no, we have a constant somewhere. Let's look into it. We have expanded. We have that. We have the decorated box. Constructor being called isn't a const constructor, I understand, but try removing the const. Where's the const? Child, this one, decoration, expanded, column, material, where is the const? I don't see the const. This one is a const, aha, alright, fair enough. Then this one can be a const, and I believe down there, this one can be a const. Great stuff. Okay, with that, we push that into the center. And now instead of having here text, we want to have an elevated button, which has no on pressed. So we pass in null. And here the child should have the text sign in. And on the other side, we want to have a second button, I guess, where we have register. And what I would like to have is that they are side by side, right? So instead of a column, we take them again and say we have a row with children and pass them in, something like that. And this doesn't work. Why? Oh, I can just replace the column at the moment, right? Yep. Something like that, but I think we need the row to, the column, I mean, to push them somewhere. Okay. Press F2. Good point. Yeah, I pressed F2, but I think it didn't jump to the const somehow. I don't know why. So if I add here const and make everything red, now, you know why it's not jumped there? Because I have to press the Fn key, and then it's Fn. So, keyboard issues, I tell you that. But very good point. F2. Shafquat, very nice. I love that you know the keyboard shortcuts. So if you don't know the keyboard shortcuts for IntelliJ, please learn them. Two options how you can learn very quickly the keyboard shortcuts. First, key map reference. It will tell you every shortcut for Mac or for Windows Linux. If you are a beginner and you have never worked with IntelliJ and you need to learn them, put that on your side. Every day you want to learn one of these commands. Every day, just one, and try to use it always. So, and if you then want to gear up and learn even more, there is a plugin. Of course, there is a plugin for it, right? It's like an app. So if you want to have a plugin, the name is Key Promoter X down there. And install that one. And what it does for you, it will show you whenever you do something with a click, that you have done, that you could have done with a keyboard shortcut. And some of the key helpers are really useful, like for example, Command-Shift-A, something like that, that you don't go to Files, Preferences or something. It will tell you that this is wrong. Even though if you play here, press play, you can see there is a shortcut for it. If I press it, you get directly, hey, use please, is it Option? I think Option R. So very helpful, but also very depressing, especially if you use it for a decade or something, and then you see here something like, you missed it 1 billion times. One reason for that was long time the terminal for me, because it needs F12. It's like, what? But then I found this nice little thing, and then you can see that you can just use, I think T, is it? Yes, terminal T. Okay. But again, I switched the topic. Sorry for that. Yeah, to get a Mac is horrible. I think it's super expensive. Even though that, let's say the refurbishment options are better and better nowadays. Any good options for image hosting in Flutter apps? Firebase cloud storage is too expensive. Okay, so if Firebase cloud storage is too expensive, so image CDN. The problem, free image processors are quite seldom, or I did not find any. Good question. Firebase cloud storage is too expensive? So how many images do you have? You could, what I do usually is I use Google Bucket and then I have the image parts. But I'm now surprised. How can Firebase be so expensive for you? Let me quickly check. I think the Firebase, can you not use the, there's this, I mean, there is a reason that you don't want to use it, I can understand, but if you want to just upload your images, then I would not use the Firestore. You would just use the storage, yeah. And 10 gigabyte, oh, okay. Wow. Because we use it currently in the company and I don't think it's so expensive compared to others. But if you have to pay for it, well, then it's getting quickly expensive, that's true. Image CDN, are there some that I would recommend that jumps into my eye? You see, I also searched for them a lot. Image Kit, I was there, that's true. WebDev, Image CDN. If you don't know what a CDN or an image CDN is, you can upload your images there and then you get optimized images back. Like instead of a PNG, you can directly say which image height and width you want to have. And then you get, for example, a WebP image back. So it is optimized for your website. But I'm sorry, no good option from my side. Cheaper car price, wow. Can imagine. Also with the inflation at the moment, right? Crazy stuff happens. I mean, at the moment anyway, right? With the war and everything. Crazy times. Anyway, good. Column. We want to bring that it takes the full size, I would say. So we take cross-axis alignment, stretch again. Did not work as I expected. Because I am a little bit, the row will now take full width, but here the main axis alignment, what do we have to give it to here? Main axis, center and space around between. Good, so it takes the full width. Why is this button so small? I'm surprised. Yeah, I think cars are so cheap. That is usually a problem. So, style, what do we have? We have the elevated button. Why is this button so small? I'm surprised, actually. Do I have to make it active before it's getting bigger? Or wait, like this? It's red? Const. Don't do this to me. So. No, active buttons also look ugly. I actually thought that they will take the width that they need, but it seems not like that. So button style, do I have to really push that out? I really thought that would be happening automatically. Maximum size, fixed size, min size. Okay, so let's pass in a... Okay, so let's try that with a style. So button... wait a second, I have to think. Can I wrap that with an expanded? Aha, okay, all right, got it. Expanded. So with that, they are taking the space that they need. Space between, so we don't have that, makes sense. And now what can we do? We use a sized box, I think, in between. Sized box, and we say that the width should be, let's say, 8 again. Yep. Unfortunately, it's the first option. Zack. So we have some space, that's good. And now we can make it also wrapped in a padding, I guess, the whole thing. So this row, yeah, needs to be a bit smaller. Jack, say here again, symmetric, and we take horizontal of 8. Let's double it. And let's do it correctly, like so. Okay, great. With that we have that, and now we could even push it a little bit lower. I think we don't want to have it on top. Yeah, I think why not, right? So let's just push it. And how do we push it? We have multiple options again. We can push it via the padding that we have already. So that we say like vertical is also 8 times 2, for example. But then we push also the buttons underneath of it, or whatever we want to have underneath of it away. But that's fine, I guess. Something like that. 3. So now this is swipeable, looks good. We have space. It's currently not scrollable. I think we have to take a look into that these onboarding parts are also swipeable. Then we have the buttons down here, and yet now we need just as a last element some text underneath of it. But because as you can see already, the file size is growing, we should do something about it, right? Because it makes it hard to maintain in general. Should we now create a widget? I would say no. Usually I do it whenever we hit the 200 lines of record of code. What company do you currently work for? I'm working for a car company. If you head over to my website, flutterexplained.dev, there you get the link directly for Sono Motors, and it's a vehicle that we want to create, which has solar panels integrated, so it will drive a bit further. And the idea of the car is, or what I'm actually doing for the car is I developed the smartphone app, which is a React Native app for car sharing, currently only available in Germany, unfortunately. And yeah, also supporting, when I have the time, the infotainment system, so the things that are in the car, like the middle console part where you have the touchpad and also the part directly in front of it. And as you can imagine, in Germany, everything has a lot of regulatories, so it's a very interesting job in general, but I have to work with React Native. No worries, Irie. Enjoy your rest of your day. Yeah, it's a very interesting position, and I'm there mostly because of the reason that I want to support the world somehow. So my green soul and the part that I want to keep a good, healthy environment for my children is there mostly involved. Good. One more thing that I forgot. I think, did we not start last week and const part? No, not yet. So what I would like to do is creating constants for these numbers here, because 8 is a perfect spacing parameter for me that I will use over and over, like 8, 16 and multiple times of that. So what we could do is creating constants for that, so that when the grid will change eventually then we can just replace it by a different number. Where would that fit best? Would it be an app? Authentication? Well, we have the theme here, so probably could also create the constants here. Or would it be directly living in lib? Because it would be general available for all files, I would put it for now in the lib directly. So Dart file, call it constants. Let's make it real. Good. And this one should export. Wait, do I have to? Yeah, I think I have to export. No. Now React Native hits me again. So what I want to have is the spacing, right? So we want to have, like, for example, const. Could I create a class, like class spacings, and then just make it like that? And static small is 8, for example. So const small, medium, large, extra large, and things like that. So with that, can I make that a static class? No, I don't have to, because now I can use these spacings, and wherever I have written 8 so far, I can search and replace and say then spacings dot, what is 8? Small. So will a bit complain at the beginning because we don't have the import, but if we do that, everything should be fine. Perfect. And now if we don't like 8 anymore, we can just replace it by 6 and everything in the app will change probably. Or it will break because int double. Okay, fair enough. Abstract class. Yeah, I think we talked about it last week, or I remembered it somewhere. So can I abstract? What would be the benefit there for? Can I still use it the way? Oh yeah, I can still use it the way. Perfect. So I just have to replace now all the 8s. So .0 multi-caret word. If you know how to work with multi-caret, I made a short for that and always recommend it. It's always impressive how many people don't know that. So 28, 32, great. So, hey Max, do you come here daily? Do you have any Discord or something? I had a Discord and currently I am like having a shadow Discord because it wasn't that used. I'm sadly not really active in Discord itself, so it's usually just a dead app. So where you can find me is at the moment on Twitter mostly, LinkedIn, and yeah, probably on Discord. I could invite you, but it would not really help someone, you know, it's like, yeah, not really supported from me or not really maintained, and that usually, yeah, brings not very good results. I don't know, good or bad, but I am leading 6 people in my company and working as team lead and head of department. Yeah, so can imagine a lot of responsibility. And yeah, so if you are using Flutter, well done. You are in a very good company with MediaMarkt Saturn, for example, or what do we have for companies that are working mostly with Flutter that I know of? BMW, I think, is using Flutter heavily. And they are also pretty happy, as far as I know. Toyota has done it in their infotainment system. Nubank is using it. Just so many big companies. I heard once from one of my viewers, he wrote me that one of my videos was released and it was something that they needed in their team. So they decided to put the video that I did on their streamer and sent me a picture with it when the whole team watched that video. And on one point I was thrilled, but on the other side I was very intimidated, because whatever I say has an impact, you know. If I tell you complete bullshit and utterly bullshit, then in the worst case you believe me and you do something very wrong, and then slowly and later you will say something like, Mr. Weber, what did you do there? Why did you explain something like that? And also very interesting was a co-worker of mine was telling me that he had a great idea for his Android project because of my Solid videos. And also that made me very blushing. It was really a good feeling. So yeah, make videos, make content. It helps you. It's very a joy to help other people. Yep, Minnesota. I would love to work for Google once in a while. I think a job with the, how do you call it? I think the evangelist or something. I would love that, I believe. Or another thing would be what I also wanted to do is like a professional speaker or something like that. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have the chance yet. Something was always in the way. Yeah. Where's my head at the moment? I have to think what I have to do next, and somehow I cannot get the reasoning. So we have the buttons, they look ugly, but that's okay for now. We can do that, and we will do that, obviously. I think the elevation looks a bit too harsh. It's too much shadow, in my opinion. Can we make that a bit more gentle? Look at that, much better. So much better. Is it the spread radius that looks so weird? That makes it so harsh. I don't know. If you have good shadow options, please let me know. How do you usually store things like API keys in your app? Do you just use something like secure storage package? No. At the moment in our current company, I learned a very cool trick, and it's called Git Secure, I think, which is pretty amazing. Git Secure is working with the keychain of Apple, and you can create stuff there and push it then later. And I was really surprised how good that works, because it more or less encrypts data that you don't want to expose to everyone. So if you are not, if you didn't edit the GPG key to your account, you are not able to see the file. And that's ridiculous cool, honestly. I was really happy with that. I'm not sure if this is Git Secure, if this is true, if this is the real thing. Service runner, no, I think this is not the one that I search. It's Git Secret? Is it Git Secret? When you have store your private data, such as database password, application secrets, or outside, even repository is it is a risk. Yep. Are not version controlled. File names change, blah blah blah. When building automated Git Secret, yeah. So it's Git Secret, actually, and really cool, honestly. And the cool thing about GPG, I don't know if you know that, I have a workmate who is absolutely stunned by GPG, right? He knows everything, and like, for example, you don't know, maybe you know the app Frema is using GPG a lot to verify that other customers and users are trustworthy. And GPG works like that it's getting like a rank on your email address, and the more people trust you, the more higher your rank will be automatically. I don't know how exactly it works, I have to be honest, but I like that. So if you want to save hidden files or things like that, I can recommend you that. Pretty cool. So I would love to share the link with you, but I don't have the... I should maybe just go to YouTube and watch my own video and send it to you. I think that would be an option. Let's be this one. Let's see. Don't install stuff. Don't talk with myself. Great stuff. Here we go. Can I pop up the... Don't talk with myself, please. So chat outside, great stuff. Look at that, it took me 2 hours to get the chat outside. Great stuff, but now I can chat and send also links and things like that. Cool. So maybe this one is also interesting. So send. Nice one. Okay. So what else do we need to do that it looks more beautiful? I think we need to at least halve the size of this. And I think we can easily do that. So let's see. By the way, other great stuff with the constants, that this abstract class is immediately workable. Honestly, I think I have to read why this works, because abstract class does not have an implementation as far as I know. Don't know how Dart does that, because I know it just from Java, honestly. So that could be the problem here. And I see right now I'm pretty dark. Yep. So, opening the window, make some noise, have some light. Look at that. So, cool stuff. Yeah. But I have to read why this works. I think because it creates a real class somehow, but maybe not. I don't know. It's or because of the statics and it just works. Cool. Okay, yeah. Now we can commit that maybe, and we have the app test, which is just a removal. I think we can roll that back. Don't need that. This is the constants. We have created the lower part. So we made a feature. And it's annoying me that I don't have the emoji keyboard anymore. So emoji keyboard. No, I think it's an Apple thing. So where's the App Store? App Store. Store? This one. Get me please emoji. Is it emoji light? I believe so. Let's try that. Jeez. Okay, let's switch quickly to here and switch here to the German keyboard. So. If I press FN, it shows an emoji keyboard. You're right. Really? And then what should I do? So like this and then Control, Command, Space. Command, Control. Searching this Mac. Control, Command. No, this is Option. Control, Command, Space. Ooh. Ah, but then I have to click it, right? Wait, can I have to try that. So yeah, I want to have, for example, it's a feature, so we make wrench. Oh, okay, great. So what was it? Nice, thank you very much. Then I don't need a wicked thingy-majingy. Cool, thank you very much. That's why I love live stream. I learn more than you do. So perfect, get the feature out. That is now the lower part of the onboarding screen with a login or sign in button. No, I always do this mistake, especially in live streaming, because it's a solo project and usually people don't help me. So 2 things that I do wrong. First, we still work on main. Not a good thing. So let's create a branch and don't click. We use a command, right? So, and with that, we create a branch. So we go to 7 branches. We create a new branch, which we call, do we have an issue number? Probably 1. So let me quickly look. So if I click now on that, do I move to the issue? Ooh, great. Yes, so we have that. Can I create a branch? Perfect. and I don't have to do it myself. So there is a lot of text. I check it out locally. That's create. It's a lot of handwork, I know, but you know. So, and now we have to fetch, Command T. Fn twice, I try that. Nope, doesn't work. Sorry, mate. Good, nevertheless, and let's get this one, check out. What a name for a branch, great stuff. Anyway, then we have that. And why do I want to have a different branch? Because, well, if we would now, the main branch should be always releasable, in my opinion. So that's what we always want to give to our customers. And, well, I would not give that to a customer at the moment. So there is a lot of styling missing. It looks a bit ugly. So let's work a little bit further on that onboarding screen before we face it to our customers, right? But with that, we have now a branch, and then we can also create pull requests later and all that kind of stuff. So I want to work a bit more professional. The reason is that I show you how you probably will work in a team later. So in a real project team, right? You will work on main usually. I know only a few projects, and most of them are web projects who are trunk-based developers. Good. It could be, Mesota, that I don't have a good keyboard, you know, or that I don't have a standard keyboard because I use that key Logitech thingy majingy. And then sometimes, yeah, key short. Ah, no, you know what the problem is? I removed all keyboard shortcuts from Mac. If you, or a lot of them, because inside of the shortcuts here, some of them were clashing with the Android Studio or IntelliJ. And then the whole Mac blown up with some yellow node things that I removed. And so probably I removed also that shortcut. Good. Feature. So, and now we describe what we have we don't describe what we have done because that's the code. We describe why we have done it. To make the onboarding screen look more appealing, we introduced the lower part of the app, of the onboarding screen. It contains 2 buttons. Yeah, I think I don't have to write so much. I mean, it's just UI, right? We don't have so much done at the end. And onboarding, and I think here it's also onboarding. Something like that. Fair enough. And push. Great stuff. And with that, we have pushed it. And you know what now comes, because it's going slowly to the end of the stream. It's 8 o'clock. I think we have made 2 hours. It was a joy to be with you. Let's have a revise on our tasks. Did we do anything of it? So onboarding with 3 different screens that can have a headline and a body text. I believe we did that. Translatable body and headline text, I think we did that. We should also take care of I will untick that and change that a little bit, because not only also the buttons have to be translatable. And unfortunately we did not manage that today. So update. For each text we want to see an image, we do that. The image on the text should be swipeable. Register button should be on a fixed position. I think we did that. Add a login and register button, we did that. So for each text we want to see an image. Yeah, I think we have that. So just the translation. And of course there's more to it, right? We want to make it beautiful, and that's maybe something that we can do next time. Ada, this is the keyboard. I love it because you see these 3 buttons. As a streamer, you have so many devices running around that connecting it to multiple devices is gold, especially with, like, this is the MX. Logitech also, it also has the option to have multiple devices. Just great to have that. Okay, so what can I tell you still for today? Thank you very much for joining. It was a pleasure to have you here. We did a lot of different topics. We talked about the UI building for the onboarding screen a bit more. We had CDN topic, like where we can put our images, not briefly, but hey. We talked a little bit about Git secret. We had as a topic, I think I will miss so many. What cakes are you planning to have on Easter? Very good question. None. The reason is I have to make I'm on a strict diet at the moment. Reason for that, I got a lot of weight when my child was born, and since then I was going up and up and up. So probably to have a food tracker or something would be also a good app idea that I should implement.